Coming up in the news tonight, Grand Bahamians continuing to step up for vaccinations. A revised COVID-19 policy announced for the University of the Bahamas. And the fall semester at BTBI kicking off virtually. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news as the government continues to advance its vaccination program around the country. Here on Grand Bahama, an official at the United States Embassy out of New Providence is applauding Grand Bahamians for taking the protective step of getting vaccinated. In this report, he details the successful partnership between both countries. Grand Bahamians are continuing to do their part in the fight against COVID-19 as persons continue to take the step to get vaccinated. Medical Chief of Staff at the Grand Bahama Health Services, Dr. Freeman Lockhart, says that ever since the arrival of the different brands of the vaccines, they have seen an uptick in residents signing up.
We had seen a jump in persons presenting themselves to be vaccinated. As of the 3rd, our Johnson & Johnson numbers are up to 812. AstraZeneca, 8,225. And Pfizer, 3,462. Now, Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson have only become available since a week ago Saturday. And if you were familiar with the number, what was available up to that point, it was just AstraZeneca. So that increase in numbers has been quite remarkable for the Grand Bahama community.
Political officer in the United States Embassy in New Providence, Todd Sargent, on island volunteering at the Susan J. Wallace Center. He says he is pleased to see Grand Bahamians taking this protective step, which is a major key to putting an end to this pandemic.
I want to be able to send my kids to school. I want to be able to go to church. I want to be able to go out and socialize without having to worry, and ideally without having to wear a mask. The only way out of this pandemic is for more people to get vaccinated, whether you're talking about the Bahamas, whether you're talking about the United States. It requires action. And that's what you see happening today here at Susan Wallace Center. People stepping up to get vaccinated. Now, Bahamians are given, right now they have 3 excellent choices. You have the Pfizer vaccine, which has been donated by the United States government. You have Johnson & Johnson, and you have AstraZeneca. All are proven effective to protect us against COVID-19.
He notes that so far, the United States has donated some 128,700 doses of the Pfizer vaccine, calling the two countries friends and partners. He shares what else the U.S. government has contributed to the fight against COVID-19 in the Bahamas.
We also have contributed over $1.5 million toward the Bahamian government's effort to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. So what does this include? It includes a grant to the Bahamas Red Cross to help bolster the infrastructure, the health infrastructure in the country. It includes providing the freezers for the Pfizer vaccine. These have to be ultra-cold freezers, so we provided all of that. We've also had the Rhode Island National Guard come down on 2 occasions, and the potential for them to come down again and actually deliver vaccines to the more remote family islands.
Sargent adds that the U.S. Embassy, along with Caribbean Bottling Company and other partners, are offering incentives for those that have taken the vaccine so far and for those who plan to.
For people who've been vaccinated, you've had your first shot, or maybe you will have your first shot, you can go to vaxbahamas.com and register for a prize drawing. Now I'm exempt because I'm at the embassy, but I really wish I wasn't, because these prizes are really exciting. And so I recommend people, if you want, go to this website, vaxbahamas.com, and register for one of the many prizes that are available.
Currently, health officials are only administering second doses for AstraZeneca. However, residents are free to sign up for Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson at vax.gov The United States Embassy announcing recently that effective October 1st, 2021, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will require all age-appropriate applicants for the U.S. immigrant visas worldwide to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 for immigration visa consideration. Now, this announcement making its rounds amongst Bahamians on social media, sending some into a panic. Political officer in the United States Embassy in New Providence, Todd Sargent, making this clarification.
This is for immigrant visas, and so this means that, you know, an American citizen family member has petitioned for someone to get an immigrant visa, go to the U.S., become a resident, and ultimately a citizen. And so it doesn't apply to most Bahamians, the vast majority, who just want a visa to go shopping or to go to school in the United States.
The University of the Bahamas has amended its COVID-19 vaccination policy. The university noting that after input from various stakeholders, a revised COVID-19 policy has been prepared and vetted. The revised policy took effect yesterday and states that all persons entering the campuses of the University of the Bahamas must show proof of being fully vaccinated or present a negative COVID-19 rapid antigen test. The rapid antigen test result must be no older than 5 days at the time of presentation. For employees, residential students, coaches who must work on campus, and students who must come on campus for course-related activities during remote operations, but who are not fully vaccinated, University of the Bahamas will cover the cost of rapid antigen tests until further notice, provided that proof of affiliation with UB is presented at the test site. In Grand Bahama, at the University North, faculty, students, and staff may be tested by Doctors Hospital, whose site is at the Geneva Wellness Center, located at number 3 East Beach Drive, Freeport. Their hours of operations are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends. UB is also advising that there will be temperature checks at the entrance for everyone. In addition, masks must be worn at all times, social distancing must be adhered to, and all are reminded to wash or sanitize your hands frequently. And turning now to the latest COVID-19 dashboard, the Ministry of Health is reporting 55 confirmed positive cases. This breaks down to 39 in New Providence, 10 in Grand Bahama, 2 in Abaco, 1 in Eleuthera, and 3 in Andros. Of those new cases, 20 are male, 35 are female. 191 persons are in hospital, with 21 persons here on Grand Bahama, inclusive of 1 person in the intensive care unit. 7 deaths have been reported between August 29th and September 3rd, all on the island of New Providence. The national death toll stands at 453. Switching gears now, thousands of students across the country are back in the classroom. For some, that classroom may be virtual, and for others, it may be face-to-face, but under the strict guidelines of COVID-19 protocols. In this report, the District Superintendent of Education for the island of Abaco and the Keys gives an update on the educational environment on that northern island. The Minister of Education announcing recently that government schools are to reopen virtually as safety is a top concern. While over on the island of Abaco, District Superintendent of Education Dominique Russell says they have heeded those suggestions.
Our environment, we have a lot of positive cases in Abaco, and so we were advised to open in the virtual platform. Now, in terms of our opening, all of our schools are open. All of the students are on the virtual platform. We still have 2 schools who are in repair mode. That's Amy Roberts Primary. They're almost completed, but they had some logistical issues in terms of getting supplies. And then Sheridan C. Doolittle High, we're still in repair mode for that school as well.
Russell says that health and safety of both staff and students will always come first. And as they continue to monitor the number of COVID-19 cases on the island, they will adjust the virtual learning platforms and environments as necessary.
Once we get the okay, we will move to the hybrid mode of education. But we're using the EMIS and the LMS as well as Zoom and other platforms to provide support for our students. We do know that there are some students who are still struggling in the sense that they don't have access to electricity, they don't have access to devices, and so as we got the devices, we gave them out to those families that needed them. We've also asked our colleagues, our principals and teachers to provide learning kits for those children who may not have access to the online platform.
Russell says that some 2,477 students are enrolled in the educational system. That includes public and private institutions on Abaco.
That represents about 72% of our children, and I think the other 28%, are as a result of inter-island migration. They're in other parts of our country. But we're still excited that, 2,477 children are here. We believe that those numbers will go up because, construction and other economic happenings, a lot of people are moving in to Abaco, and so we believe those numbers will increase.
She adds that they have learned of some issues regarding the virtual learning platforms, but she has been assured that they are being addressed.
I know, for example, on Hopetown, they didn't have access to the internet for 3 days, but I was advised by BTC that they were sending technicians there today. And so, we're growing. It's a dynamic environment. It's not the best environment, but we are making the best of it.
The Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute on Grand Bahama reopening last week for the fall 2021 semester. Tonight, the Associate Vice President shares how students in the North are coping at the tertiary learning institution as the country continues to battle the COVID-19 virus. Jamila Mizik reports.
The Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute welcoming students to the classrooms virtually since August 30th. Associate Vice President of the North, Veronica Cawley, says the Northern Campus usually makes up 20 to 30% of the institution's overall enrollment. Cawley says students are participating in an integrated learning system in conjunction with the main campus in New Providence.
Our students could be here, but still doing classes by an instructor who is teaching out of the Nassau campus. But overall, I think for BTBI, the enrollment continues to be steady. We have been even looking at enrollment in the professional development areas, so we've gotten extra persons who are interested in, things like nail tech, massage therapy, aesthetics. This year we were quite proud to see that from the Freeport campus especially. We had so many persons who were interested in the aesthetics. And so that is something that's we've been able to offer that actually online.
Cawley adding that because of the current status of the COVID-19 pandemic, they have not yet resumed face-to-face courses at this time.
You might ask, well, you're talking about technical courses, how that works. What we do is the first half of the semester, we are using a lot of simulation, meaning that the students get to experience what's in a regular technical area while they're working through their theory. And then after the midterm goes by, we actually do the practical, but we have them come at different times so that we actually honor what's going on with the social distancing. So they do get to do some hands-on, but that is done mainly after we are finished with the first half of the semester.
Now, Cawley notes that Bahamian students who qualify are still eligible for government scholarships to attend BTBI.
We offer scholarship through the government. Once they join and they're able to register in 2 or more classes, we can offer scholarship for most of the programs. And when we say most of the programs, right now we've just also had persons from West Grand Bahama who did what we call a special interest. They did nail tech and barbering, and those were covered fully by the government. So yes, most of the programs. And our professional development, though, most times they are short courses where we offer, say somebody wants to get a little knowledge about computers, they can do that for about 10 weeks. Those are not really fully covered by the scholarship program, so professional development would be different.
And the Associate Vice President says they're looking forward to their students returning to campus soon.
With the COVID-19, we don't get to see the students on the campus the way we would. And I really would like to say we miss them. Sometimes just knowing that they're here made the difference. So we look forward to things changing, hopefully. But the online, like I said, we've tried to make it as realistic as possible. So our teachers have been trained to work with the online environment so that it doesn't be as mundane that, the way people think it might be using the online environment.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news coming up right after this break.